You begin by picking a force consisting of an officer, battlecaster, a number of allies and heroes, and finally your units. After that, you customize your models with upgrades for your characters and units, and finally casting cards for your battlecaster. A game turn consists of 5 phases: initiative, defense, activation, casualty, and valor. Now let's take a look at an example of gameplay.
Okay, as you can see, we've got the board already set up, and we're a couple of turns into the game, but we're going to jump in right here, kind of show you how the whole thing runs. The first phase of the turn is initiative. There are 3 things that occur during this phase. First, you draw a Fog of War card. The Fog of War is a random event that can either help or hurt your side. It is the Fog of War that causes creatures to begin to appear. And I draw mine, and I get Dug In. Dug In gives the models played on a bonus to its defensive attack. Fog of War card benefits only last 1 turn, so I have to decide whether to play it this turn or hold it for later. I'll think about that as I plan the rest of this phase. The next thing is rolling for initiative. Unlike other games, initiative in Not All Blood Runs Red is only used to resolve ties, and I'll explain that next. As you can see, my opponent has already rolled a 5, and I have rolled a 2. The final step during the initiative phase is to set your activation order. Each character or unit has an activation card that will have an initiative on it. You will put these in the order you want to activate. Remember that you'll be flipping the deck over, so whoever you want to activate first should be on the bottom of your deck. My battlecaster is in the thick of things, so I'm going to want to activate her first. Now let's go back to explaining the initiative roll earlier. Lieutenant Evans has an initiative number of 4. If my opponent flips a card over with the same initiative of 4, we'll refer back to that initiative roll to see which model activates first. The next phase is defense. During this phase, you move action points from your action track to your defense track if you wish. Again, Lieutenant Evans is in the thick of things, so I'm going to move an extra point to her defense. And going back to that Fog of War card, as you can see, it has to be played during phase 2. That's the phase we're in, the defense phase. I want to protect my battlecaster, so I'm going to play that on her now. Phase 3 is activation. Each player flips over their first activation card. My opponent is playing his officer, and I am playing my battlecaster. This might hurt. As you can see, his initiative is 5 and mine is 4. He'll get to activate first. He wants to shoot at my battlecaster. He has a range of 1 plus blue. That means he can shoot at any model within the sector he is in, or any model that is within a blue movement of the sector edge. Currently, he is out of range. So what he's going to do is spend 1 activation point. Right, 1. Okay. 1 activation point to move closer. This puts him within a blue movement of the edge. So just like he can shoot at targets if they are within that range, he can now shoot into an adjacent sector because he is within that range. So his movement is green. Place it at the edge of his base and move him to the end. As you can see, he is well within that blue range for the next sector. He spends 2 of his remaining activation points to shoot, needing 4 or better to hit. And he gets 2 hits. I'll roll the caster's defense versus shooting, needing 5 or better normally, but with my Dug In card, I'll need 4 or better. I can roll up to 3 dice for defense from my defense track, and I have 3 in there, so I will roll them all. Unlike with the action track, The defense track points are not spent when used. As you can see, I got 4 better on 2 of my 3 dice. That will block both of his attacks. Now that he's gone, I get to go. I'm building up for an attack later, so I'm going to try and cast Gift of the Morrigan. Any successes I roll will be placed on the card, and I'll be able to use them later. Because the difficulty is -2, normally I would need 4 better, now I'll need a 6. I'm going to spend my 3 remaining action points to try and make some magic happen. And I get 1 6. I'll place that on the Gift of the Morrigan card and save it for a later time.
We'll continue to activate our remaining models until all models have activated this turn. Now that everything is activated and the carnage is over, we go to the casualty phase. Now all those wounds that were piled on during the turn are resolved. Some additional attacks were made on my Battlecaster and she has taken a wound. Because she has no medics kit to aid her, and I did not give her a healing word spell, she'll have to take that wound. As you can see, that wound pushes her action track maximum down to 5. We'll do that with the remaining models as well until all wounds are resolved. Because wounds don't get resolved until this phase, models were still able to activate during the turn and use their full action points.
Finally, we have the Valor phase. Any model that suffered a wound or any unit that has lost a model has to roll against their spirit. As you can see, my Battlecaster has a spirit of 2 plus 3. To pass a Valor test, a model needs just 1 success, regardless of the number of wounds suffered or unit members lost. That means I'm going to need a 3 or better with my 3 dice. And I passed no problem. If she had failed, I would have lost action points on the next turn and hopefully recovered them at the end of that turn. If I didn't, I'd be at a disadvantage for as many turns as it took.
And that's our playthrough video. I hope it's helped, and I hope you'll be backing our Kickstarter.